I'm Ken Meeker, and I'm Bold Blind Beauty's Man in Motion for June. I was asked to be June's Man in Motion for a couple of reasons. One, I have a severe visual impairment, I'm legally blind, and also it's Pride Month. I lost my vision in 2014 from a severe infection, and most of my life I was sighted. And my life's passion has always been to find ways to empower people to be their best versions of themselves and to reach their goals. Getting to where I'm at today is, a lifelong lesson, of experience. Not all of it great. I've learned over the years that overcoming challenges and adversity is what defines you as a person. And so that's just how I model my life. Challenges come, you feel it, then you move through it to the other side and you end up being in a better place. But it's acknowledging what actually happens to you is the biggest challenge, I think. I was really honored to be asked by Bold Blind Beauty to be their June feature because it's Pride Month. I've been out since I was 16. I have no shame. I feel no guilt. I am who I am, and I accept who I am. And to be able to show people that you can be who you are and be accepted and be loved and you're worthy is why it means so much. It was such an honor to be asked to do June Pride. So the main point that I like to talk about when it comes to DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, is the equity part, because I don't think it gets enough attention, and really developing that. And that's one thing that I really like to talk about. And when I speak to people about how do you develop equity, that's not talked about enough. Equity is creating a space where everyone not only feels like they should be there, but that what they need in order to perform, like within whenever we're talking about employment, all the tools they need to do their job are provided. Or there's a famous quote where equality is giving everybody a pair of shoes, equity is making them fit. Unfortunately, the statistics show that blind people are not really actively participating in society as a whole from employment. Most blind people, I think the statistics is 70% of blind people don't work, which is disgusting considering they're some of the most talented and brilliant people I've ever met. We're tremendous problem solvers. We have to do everything differently with less, but we do it, and we're amazingly talented and smart because of that. And we have a lot of value to society, but unfortunately, things aren't modeled for us. Well, people view the world through their lived experience. The majority of the world isn't disabled, so they don't see the world through that lens. And so it takes creating awareness. That's how you do it. People have to be aware. It's not that they forget that blind people are there, but that's not their lived experience. So the only way is creating awareness. And that, unfortunately, the people that are not being represented and heard are the ones that have to make the noise. But also, one important thing when it comes to DEI is everybody in some capacity lives in a majority. And so what that means is, there's the cisgendered white male experience. And, if you look at the power structure of our country, it's mostly white, adult, straight men. It's just the truth. And so they have the most power as a group structurally. And that all filters down, and that's why representation is so important. Because if you look at ads, 30, 40 years ago, they all look the same. It's all a bunch of white people and white men, and it's not representative of what society looks like. And so by creating awareness, if you don't see yourself represented somewhere, you make some noise because you want to be seen. Stonewall was a disruptor. The only reason I was able to be so comfortable with who I am, as a gay man, is because my mother was. It never was going to be an issue for her, and she made that clear from when I was relatively young that your unconditional true love is the most powerful thing you can experience when you have it in your life, and that's what I had from my mom. I never had any sense of shame about my sexuality, but that was a privilege that I got because of how I was raised. Not everybody gets that experience. So I think it's recognizing that that is a privilege that I had. I was 39 when my vision loss happened. 39? God, I'm not good with math. That's 8 years ago. So I was in my mid-30s when my vision loss happened. So I had a very nice car. I drove a nice BMW convertible. I thought I had it pretty good. Everything was lost to the point where I couldn't even feed myself because I had no idea what was on a plate. So I had a tremendous sense of shame. I didn't want to be other for something else or for one more thing, because now I was other for two reasons. One for gay, one for disability. There's plenty of days when I'm not confident, but they're getting fewer and fewer and fewer, and I allow myself to work through them and face what is causing me to not feel confident, and I'm willing to work through that. I didn't used to be. That's the growth. Because the thing about it is there's not the destination. It's a process. It's always, you're trying to make more and more progress. You never get to the finish line. DEI, I think it's a good thing. It's absolutely a good thing. Unfortunately, some of it, I don't want to say it's fluff because it's important even if it's just creating awareness. That's better than nothing. But the way to tell if an organization or a business or anything really believes in it is the actions that they take, the amount of time, the amount of money that they invest in it, and do they have a policy? Does that match what you actually see and how they actually operate? That'll tell you everything you need to know whether it matters to them. Because some businesses do great with it and they believe in it and they demonstrate that through action. If you don't see any results from the actions they take, clearly it's just lip service.
What is something that you think most people would never guess about you?
I can DJ on 3 turntables and a mixer.
Really?
I have pictures of it.